Let's say the motion is this house supports nationalism, which is a motion we've tackled many times on this channel. At Opening Government, you've rightly identified that nationalism is a necessary collective identity that is preferable compared to other, more exclusionary default collective identities such as race, ethnicity, religion, etc., etc. Specifically, you argue that nationalism is inclusive of people from differing backgrounds, so long as they subscribe to the idea of the nation state. This is already a very highly advanced argument. At this point, Opening Opposition runs the argument that nationalism, in most instances, is divisive and exclusionary. In fact, nationalism detracts from a pursuit towards a collective global identity. And here's the kicker. Opening Opposition even tries to pull off a very clever and sneaky attempt at response. They say, your best case then is basically supporting our side. Because if nationalism is truly going to be inclusive of multiple identities, then that is basically a cosmopolitan identity. And so the concept of a nation state is completely unnecessary. It's a completely unnecessary middle step in the process. On first glance, this actually sounds like a super cool response. And it often stuns teams that are on the opposing side, especially if they're not familiar with this style of responding. So how would you respond? The best response to this argument is to unpack its fallacy, that we should merely evaluate this engagement based on the end ideals, which is a national identity that is inclusive versus a cosmopolitan identity that is also inclusive, which both things could be good. When this completely misses the actual point of the original arguments, that the process of pushing a national narrative is one that is relatively more approximate and accessible because it relies on common geographic experiences, common histories under the same nation, and common struggles against other nation states. In comparison, cosmopolitanism is incredibly difficult to reach, and in fact, it can be a highly asymmetric process. It can get hijacked by larger countries with a lot of wealth to influence global policy, and thus it is relatively more exclusionary and non-representative of the actual interests of these states. So even if a cosmopolitan identity could ideally be good, the process can be very violent, disruptive, and also unequal. So if you noticed, this video is yet another process arguments example. In short, process arguments resolve the dilemma of best case scenarios, seemingly conceding to the other team's arguments. They may have similar end goals, but the process is often vastly different. And as evident in this debate, this does improve the arguments a lot. Thanks. Have a great day.